out of all of our mouths is going to provide the nice warm air in the cool nights.
Okay, so it's a place to avoid in the summer, though, because it's really, I mean, it's like 110 degrees downtown in the summer.
Yeah, but you got shade, right?
Okay. So anyhow, I want to welcome all of our Spreaker listeners who can now listen to us.
Bonus content?
Yeah, there was a little bonus content this week.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
If you were on Facebook,
you saw it.
If you were on Facebook or YouTube, you got bonus content. Spreaker, not so much.
Just came up like right now this second?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, no, it was
about
5 minutes before the show.
No, I just turned Spreaker on right now.
Oh, just
like
now?
right now.
I filled everything else out. I just forgot to hit start.
So they missed the statue.
Okay.
No, they really didn't.
Okay, so well then it's a replay of last Wednesday where folks, if again you're watching on FaceTube
On FaceTube?
FaceTube,
Phase 3, Phase 5.
watching on
Clint, what phase are we in?
FaceTube
7.63.
or FaceTube or UBook, then you get bonus content.
For the record, Jersey Joe just wanted to let us know that his visor was removed in the last movie of the Next Generation series.
Oh, it wasn't in the TV series. Okay, all right.
Is it still called
Good
the
point.
Next Generation when in fact there's been like one or two other generations since then?
I don't really know.
You know,
I'm sure
they've got a new TV show out. I haven't even seen it. You have to pay for it now.
They do, right? But you know what's really exciting? Do you remember the series Deadwood?
Oh, Deadwood only went 3 seasons. You either loved Deadwood or you hated it.
This year, the next Deadwood is coming out. All of the original cast members.
They were threatening to make a movie. Is it a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's
Hell,
a movie,
I'll go
and it's
watch
going to
that.
wrap. It's going to wrap everything up. I think it's going to be on HBO. But yeah, Timothy Olyphant is in there, and in the teaser photograph,
that.
he's actually in front of a U.S. Marshal's office.
Interesting.
I'll watch that. The thing that people hated about Deadwood is that it was very profane. David Milch, the guy that wrote the series and created it, just went all in. The language was very flowery and very creative, but it was incredibly profane.
So, do you remember
So
some
a lot
of
of
the
people they hated it.
Do you remember some of the photos, or some of the sayings from Deadwood? Because I think one is very fitting today for our current governor.
Okay, what's that?
San Francisco cocksucker.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You remember that? Remember that character?
Yeah. Yep.
Sean, you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
That was the first time that I'd seen
What's the problem?
Nothing.
that I'd recognized what a great actor is Ian McShane.
Yeah.
Ian
Yes.
Ian
McShane
McShane's an amazing actor.
is
Phenomenal.
fabulous. And because we have John Wick in chat, and Ian McShane was in the last John Wick movie,
Yes.
John Wick 2.
He was in both of them, wasn't he? I think he was in 1 and 2.
Was he in I just remember he was in number 2. In any event, maybe John Wick, who's listening right now, can give us a clue as to what's going to happen in the third movie. Because whatever it is, John Wick, if it's wickable, I'll watch it.
He just said earlier, I did ask that in chat. He said, I'm going to kill a bunch of people, run around with my dog, and have a really hot chick. So it's a watcher. It's a watcher. Hey,
I really like watching his weapons manipulation.
yeah. So
His weapons,
He went to
Keanu Reeves.
Sorry,
either
Sean.
you,
It was
Sean,
me.
or
I
you,
showed it to you.
Clint, said that he went to a weapons school.
yes.
Yes.
To learn weapons manipulation
Yes.
skills, and you showed me the video of that,
And he
Yes,
was
I
all
did.
over
and
it.
he's impressive.
Yep.
He did a hell of a job.
He is a no joke. He's actually like a gun enthusiast.
Yeah, he
is
likes
a no
it.
joke fighter. Like
Yeah,
even before this movie.
You showed me that, and I was impressed as hell. He did a great job in that, which is another reason I'll watch. You bring the John Wick movies, I'll watch them and pay for them.
Speaking of movies that are supposed to be released, I heard today, and I don't know if there's any truth to it, that they're doing a Sopranos prequel
Oh, I hadn't heard
Really?
that.
with
prequel.
James Gandolfini is going to play a young, his son is going to play a young Tony Soprano.
Oh, now that
would be good.
That would be interesting.
That would be.
I haven't seen his son. I don't know if you have. I'm
Close
curious
enough.
if he looks
Close
anything
enough.
like Dad.
Yeah, close enough, definitely. I think. I mean, let me rephrase that. I think it's close enough. That doesn't mean it is close enough.
I'd watch that too.
So I have a couple things I kind of want to jump into because we
Two other things, if I could jump in here real quick.
Go ahead. No reason for the guests to.
One movie that was one of the best I've seen this year and last year that I actually laughed out loud at, that I would recommend to anybody and everybody, is The Upside with Kevin Hart and
I've
Bruce,
heard.
or excuse me,
Krasinski.
No, the guy from Breaking Bad,
Not Krasinski.
Bryan Cranston.
Cranston.
That was great. What a great time those guys must have had making that movie. Funny as hell, poignant, made you cry, made you laugh. Boy, I'd go see that in a hot flesh again.
Well, I got. Did you say in hot flesh?
Yes, that's where I would. In
Just
hot
checking.
Hot Flesh, Arizona. I would. That's a town. I would go see that movie.
Well, there's a good movie, 1969. Ian McShane was in it. I was watching it because I enjoy old World War II movies.
Oh, speaking of which,
but Battle of Britain. Ian McShane.
Oh, the original.
Yes,
I
Battle of
remember
Britain.
seeing
Ian McShane
that.
was a sergeant pilot.
Yeah.
I saw that in the movie theater. God, this is really dating me. I saw that in the movie theater, in the Village Theater on Marconi.
But there was no audio, only a piano.
With my dad.
Yeah, there was a piano and colored lights with people moving like the bottles of liquid.
Did you actually hear the stump by Woodrow Wilson's people?
And the lights were flickering, though. And it wasn't because of the incandescent bulbs.
No.
It was because of the flames.
It was a candle, right?
Yeah.
But it was good because I had to keep it dark in order to get the reel going.
Right.
Hey, Dan Crenshaw, Representative Dan Crenshaw, everyone knows he's the former Navy SEALs, lost his eye in combat. The SNL made fun of him. There's that whole thing. But he has been a Twitter machine. Yesterday he tweeted, "Hey, just want to point out the media blunders this week," and it's at Dan Crenshaw. "Hardly any coverage for the March of Life. BuzzFeed lies about Cohen case. Slandering Covington Catholic students over a false narrative. Slandering Karen Pence for working at a Christian school. Just saying, 3 out of 4 of these are fundamentally anti-Christian." He also made a list of things that, where is this? The Democrat priorities. Clint, you ready for these?
Yes.
Number 1, being against anything Trump wants, even border security for $1.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
Then he skips down. There's nothing until number 876, DACA protection. 877, reopening government.
Yeah.
Somebody said that there was a bill thrown to the floor Saturday. I haven't found it. But the bill on Saturday was another attempt to try to reopen the government. Maybe it was last Friday. And, of course, there was some stipulations put in there to help maybe try to bring both sides together. And no news covered it whatsoever.
Why would they?
You know what?
Why would they?
I'm going to have to agree with Gary Gnu.
There's no good news?
No news is good news.
Right.
And Baba Ganoush.
So,
if there was no media, that's good media.
well, and it's funny you should say that. So, this is not because the Patriots won a couple days ago. But
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
I know
you
that you're
very
a
much.
Huge fan.
Colin Cowherd is a sports pundit out of L.A. He does primarily football. I actually enjoy him quite a bit. But, and this video is a little long. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I do want to, he started talking about media bias, specifically in this case against the Patriots, and why he...
Now, honest question. Don't get pissed off.
Okay.
Honest question.
Yes.
Is the media bias against the Patriots? Because I do see it. I do see it. Is it because of the perception? I don't know, because there's a perception that there was they were accused of cheating a few years ago.
Yeah.
The deflated balls. And now
Right,
maybe
so you had-
now maybe some rough calls
And he actually
officiating.
He actually brought this up too, but he said, okay, so Spygate, every team was recording other teams' practices. That was a common practice. There was no ruling saying you couldn't record the sidelines and make the two melt, which is what the Patriots are doing, until they were caught doing it, and then they said, well, we can't do this now, which is fine.
Right? No.
But it wasn't a rule. It was a rule of thumb. Maybe.
I'm not accusing them of anything.
No. But
don't
I'm
fucking shoot me right now.
But I'm explaining to you.
You're yelling at me. It's so angry.
You know, and like I said, whenever we talked about Deflategate, it's a little bit of the Trump derangement syndrome, if you ask me, because it's a little bit kind of like, hey, you know what? This guy seems to keep doing everything that he said he was going to do and doing it well, and we don't like him, so we're just going to, because we're mad, we're just going to be assholes about it. And that was kind of his point here. Let me pull it up really quick. I had it pulled up, and then you got me on a rant.
While you're waiting, let me throw another movie out there that just was issued by Peter Jackson, and it was a one-time issue. I think it's not going to be played again until he decides they're going to put it somewhere.
Is it called Remember the Saints?
No, it was called They Shall Not Grow Old, and it was a retrospective of World War I, where they'd taken old World War I footage and delineated about why we were in World War I. It went from 1914 to 1918. America was only in it during 1918 and turned everything around in the course of a year. But he took all these old... It was amazing how he had taken old, fast, terrible World War I footage, cleaned it up, colorized it, put sound to it. He had about a half hour to 45-minute thing on the end about how they did that. Number one, it was incredible. It told you tons about World War II and how terrible it was. The conditions that these men lived under was execrable. And then showed you the major oh my God, it was a great film. It's got to come out. It's got to come out to Netflix or somewhere. Predominantly, you've missed it. I'm guessing it's going to come back, but if you have the chance to watch it, it's the Peter Jackson documentary, who was the guy that did all the Lord of the Rings novels. Or excuse me, he movieized J.R.R. Tolkien's books. It's called They Shall Not Grow Old. It was fabulous.
I'll have to check that out. So here's Coward's blast of the media, and feel free to jump in. I can pause it if you have any comments. So here we go.
Said before, when it comes to the media, people talk about the media having a bias. I don't worry about the fans having a bias. Fan is short for fanatic. I don't hold the fans to the same level that I do the media. Nope. Fans are crazy. That's what makes sports great. The crazier the fans, the goofier the fans, the more delusional the fans, the more myopic the fans. That's what they have in Europe with soccer. That's what they have in America with football. That's what they have in Canada with hockey. That's what makes sports great. We don't ask you, the fans, to be above bias and agendas. We get it. You are.
Yes.
But the media in my life has gotten more agenda-driven. Used to be you had newspapers, veteran reporters. Now you got bloggers. Half of them are just fans. I mean, you can't even, honestly, half the people who are in the media today, you couldn't give a press credential to a legitimate event. And what I've noticed is the bias, I'm going to say this, against New England. America's most popular sport is the NFL. It's not even close.
So just stop for a second. Again, this is based on the bias against the Patriots. But so far, everything that he has said, and he is a member of mainstream media.
Until he got to the Patriots part, I completely agree with everything that he said. The big problem, I mean, I just ripped off 5 stories that point to the results of what he's just saying. There is now no more distinction, and tell me if you think there is, between what used to be considered news and the op-ed page.
Well, let him continue then.
All of the stuff that is allegedly news on page 1 of newspapers, if you actually read a newspaper, considered above the fold, you can't tell most of those from op-ed pages.
Right. And he kind of goes into that a little bit too.
It's not even close. So more people are emotionally vested with football than ever. And they have legalized gambling in America, sports gambling. So now people are financially invested in games, just going to get worse. Okay. But here's a story that is getting no coverage. And it would get massive coverage.
Huge coverage, by the way. It's going to get huge coverage. And just give me a second, because believe it or not, my audio is buffering. Because why wouldn't my audio buffer?
Well, right, just when you want to use it at your appropriate time, why wouldn't it do it?
Right.
Here's another story while you're waiting. Did you? Okay, go ahead and go.
Tom Brady against Kansas City throughout the game there was a laser. These are illegal. If you did this to a pilot, it's a federal crime. He had these lasers being pointed at his face during the game.
Yep.
There's multiple videos.
There was people in the end
That's
zone.
not the end of the world. But can you imagine
That's ridiculous.
the media coverage if this happened to Patrick Mahomes in Foxborough? It would need every network. It is literally not being covered.
Now, if you don't know Patrick Mahomes,
I don't know.
He's a quarterback for the Chiefs. He's half black, half white. I believe he's half black, half white.
Okay, now I get it.
He's a mixed gender, not mixed gender.
What the fuck?
Biracial.
But
When I have to remember
not
all
that
of
there's anything wrong with that.
when
right?
I have to remember all
Is
these
there-
different
is
pronouns,
right.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Be accepting. So he's mixed gender. So what? It's been hammered.
not. He's
It's been
not.
Ladies and
hammered
gentlemen, it
into
took us
me.
22 minutes to fucking devolve into pure
It's been
jackassery.
hammered into me time after time that I need to be more inclusive.
He's a talented young quarterback. He's going to probably be the future of the league in quarterbacks. He's pretty sure he's a dude. I have no way.
He's pretty sure he's
Yeah,
a
but
dude.
you don't
He's
have
pretty
to
sure
be
he
pretty
is.
sure.
Jesus.
But the point he's making is, hey, look, if this happened up in New England and it was the Chiefs quarterback, Mahomes, who's receiving this, the outrage would be a lot worse.
People would be shitting kittens.
It is a non-story except our show. Nobody's talking about this. Proving once again the agenda and bias against New England. They have created such resentment because they have the best coach, they have the best quarterback. I mean, ask yourself when you watch Kansas City.
Let's hold on.
And his partner chimes in. But, and we could, if you want to listen to the whole thing, it's out there. It was from yesterday. It's about 5 minutes. I just want to stop here for a second and apply the same logic from sports reporters to political reporters and Trump. And let's be realistic.
You could make
How
that
many-
analogy. Sure, I see where you're going.
How many times, and I'll keep the video up because there's a couple more good points. How many times has he done something good,
Who?
the president?
Oh.
That has been good for the country or good for a particular neighborhood or good
lot.
For a lot.
A lot.
And how often is it covered in mainstream media?
It's not.
But he feeds a group of college kids hamburgers out of his own pocket because he thought he'd be fun and have a little fun with it. Whatever.
He doesn't take a paycheck and he donates it to different areas in the executive.
Every month he donates it to a different area.
Yeah.
Every month.
Sorry, Sean. But
No. But you're making the point I'm trying to make. Is
Yeah.
you never hear now when the previous president went so much as to hand a flower to his daughter. It was on front page of every newspaper. Look at a great dad he is. And I'm not saying he wasn't a good dad.
Yeah, and we've talked about that
right,
on this show.
That's not the point.
But the point is the media bias against this president is so far over the top. And everything that he's saying about the Patriots from here on out, replace Patriots with Trump and let the media be media. And his co-reporter's not a Patriots fan, so she's going to chime in for a sec. But here.
I mean, the Patriots have their short list of
Okay, so let's go.
incidents.
I'm glad you bring up Deflategate, which, by the way, with Blake Bortles or Ryan Tannehill would be a one-day story.
And the other thing?
Yes, they taped practice, which everybody does, but they came out.
But they got caught.
Well, every team tapes the other team during games. The Patriots went, why can't we tape the sidelines and match it with the plays, which you're not allowed to do, although it wasn't written down that it was illegal, but the league said, we don't like that you're doing it because they were one step ahead. Deflategate, it should be noted, the Patriots have been better, and Brady's been better post-Deflategate. So it became a 2-year, and at the end it sounded like a witch hunt.
Weird.
So that's a one-day story.
Go ahead. It's so weird, right?
It is. And look, I remember I grew up as a 49ers fan.
Right.
I grew up, and my stepfather used to have season tickets.
Right.
I would go to the 49er games. I remember watching Joe Montana and Dwight Clark and Ronnie Lott and all these guys play. And people hated on the Niners.
Of course.
Because they were great at them. Now, I was not a Niner bandwagon fan. I stopped watching the 49ers when Colin Kaepernick and all the bullshit happened.
Right.
And then when the NFL I don't watch any NFL at all. And I want to make this point because there's something in the chat's been going on. I said, hey, look, I'm excited for the San Diego Fleet game that's coming up here.
That's an enema.
No, it's not.
A fleet
the
enema.
San Diego Fleet game that's coming up right after the Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay, what is that?
And somebody came up and said, "Oh, is the XFL being revived?" No, the AAF, the American Alliance of American Football, is coming online. These are NFL players and former NFL players and up and coming players and coaches that created this league, and they created it. Right after all the controversy starts, I think them and the XFL is coming too. I think they smell blood in the water.
Are they going after the NFL?
I don't know. They're starting their season the week after the Super Bowl, but these team names are like all-American team names. The Arizona Hotshots. The Hotshots is 2 crossed firefighter axes.
Cool.
In Arizona.
Love that.
You have
And that's
the-
a dedication to the crew that perished while they were fighting the
yes, there is.
9
Yes,
of
there
them.
is.
Yep.
You have the San Diego Fleet.
Obviously,
because
you
the
know what
Pacific
that is.
Fleet is there. You have the San Antonio Commanders because of San Antonio, Texas, and the war that was fought there. You have the Orlando Apollos based out of our space program. The Birmingham Iron after the American Iron. So you have all these, and I think it's going to be a short league, but there's some good talent there. And the San Diego Fleet is going to be playing at where the San Diego Chargers were, their stadium. I got one more thing, Sean. I'm sorry. I know you're biting it, but I tried to get online today to buy a San Diego Fleet shirt, and I saw a T-shirt yesterday. There was a T-shirt I really liked, sold out.
Which is awesome.
Not just in my size.
Now, is the graphics good? I
yeah,
don't know any of this stuff you're talking about.
The graphics are cool. So the go to Dan or John Wick
AAF.com.
Yeah, John Wick linked it in chat. So I looked at one of their warm-up sweaters and sold out. So fans are already on board with this and buying this shit.
Yeah, so I don't want to get confused on the point of why
Yeah.
I'm playing this. And this has nothing to do with football.
No, I know that, but
Okay.
I had to chime in. I said I hate to interrupt, but there's a
understand.
side
No,
conversation
I
going
understand.
on.
He didn't hate it.
I understand that. But I like I said, I don't want this to be about football. I want to make these comparisons to how the mainstream media treats the president right now.
Let's do what Sean wants.
Well, let's
But
make
that,
the,
no. But that's you know what? Let's do what I want to do.
let's
You know
thank
what?
you.
The hell with you.
Fucking own it.
let's
Just
use
say
the
yes.
obvious
Story.
comparison.
Brian Tannehill, it's a one-day story. Teddy Bridgewater, it's non-story. So
But in the comparison he was making right there, that with other people, things are non-stories, right?
Right.
But when the president does it, or in this case, the president of the league, the Patriots, whenever they do it, it blows up and it's this humongous thing.
Well,
Yeah, so the
every
president-
Patriot
so the-
story
Sorry,
starts
go ahead.
from an
So the president should plug the AAF and the Patriots.
He probably will.
I see what you're doing here,
Dude,
Sean. You brought it around first circle.
You and
to
I
me.
both know with this president, he has no problem slamming the NFL. I have no problem slamming the NFL. I will be honest that the Patriots game this past weekend was the first game that I've watched all season. I listened to like half of one game, and that was about it because I still have some aggravation at it, and a lot of other reasons too. But the point that he's making here of the bias and how when somebody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're winning, which this president's kind of doing, that the media altogether, it's not even one or two specific outlets, all together are pushing a narrative that's just not true.
unhealthy place. They're guilty. New England's guilty. This story, if it was in Foxborough and that was Patrick Mahomes, it would lead every single blog, newspaper, sports network. Nobody's talking about it. Now, I don't think it's the end of the world, and I don't blame the Kansas City Chiefs because it's just some random idiot person. I'm not blaming anybody here. It's just somebody with really, really, really
Talking
bad
about
judgment.
the laser.
But if it was reversed, it proves a point, is that every story with New England now comes, the starting point is they're guilty.
You're 100% right. If this was the Patriots,
And like I said, I was making that comparison specifically with the president and how the media treats him.
Well, let's state the obvious then. The obvious is people hate on New England because they've been successful for such a lengthy period of time, despite the fact that they have a 41-year-old quarterback who's still making touchdowns left and right. And the obvious comparison is, and the left is not saying this, but tacitly they're saying this, We fear Trump because he's successful, just like we fear the New England Patriots because they are successful.
Yep.
And I can tell you specifically, I know we got to go on a break, but that is specifically why Pelosi does not want Trump to make his State of the Union speech in...
Let's talk about that when we get back.
When we come back, because she knows and she's afraid that that is a bully pulpit for the good things that he's done, and now she can use another excuse for keeping him out of the chambers.
No, and I think that's a great... I do want to talk about that when we come back. Also, one last point. It's also the fact that our guy isn't winning, so now we're going to slam the guy that is.
Well,
and
hell
I think
yeah, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to undercut him on every level imaginable.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show. This is Shrat Show.
Shrat Show? No, this is a Sackheads Show.
This is a Sackheads Show on the SHR Media Network. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, before we went to break, we were just talking about media bias. BZ.
I had a couple of stories that I wanted to point out.
Okay.
Because the journalists finally, thank God. I mean, it's like a massive load of schadenfreude for me. I'm enjoying this on one hand, but I'm very sad about it on the other. Here's one story from Pointer. Gannett, which is they own a ton of papers. Gannett lays off journalists all around the country. It's another brutal day for journalism. They began slashing jobs all around the country today. Westchester, New York, California, North Carolina. But I'd say that's the price that journalism is paying for being as ridiculously biased as it is. BuzzFeed. Here's another one from the Wall Street Journal. BuzzFeed cuts 15% of its workforce. That's just in the span of less than a week after its bullshit story from week. And already they're starting to pay a price for that. I think that's great. Gawker 2.0 came back and implodes completely as its only all of its reporters, all of them just quit. That's just, jeez. Verizon Media Group is laying off 7% of its staff.
What?
I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I'm sad to see it go because we need media, but we need unbiased, apolitical media.
Yeah.
You can still have fucking news and you can still have a fucking op-ed page. Just don't mix the two. But they're paying a price. I'm sorry. I think they should pay a price. There's a price that needs to be paid. And sadly, it also means that things that really should be covered and exposed and investigative journalism, there's a place for it. We need it. But it's going away, too. I have to ask Clint, Sean, people that are listening to us right now, good journalists are paying a price for this. They're paying a price. Journalism should pay a price. I'm sad, but do you believe how much of the media, Sean, do you believe anymore?
About 9%.
Yeah. Clint, how much of the media do you believe
American media
anymore?
or foreign?
American media, because I get a lot of my stuff
overseas
from foreign sources. I still do. What's your insight,
maybe
Clint,
maybe
on
10%.
On what do you believe?
I think that I think that there is no more. I think that there is no more journalists in the sense that we don't have anybody in this country who will look at a story or a potential story or an issue and conduct non-biased, independent research and report the facts without injecting some kind of opinion or sway or without some kind of agenda attached to it. I think that type of journalism is dead. I think everything now is a gotcha moment. Everything now is to prove a point.
Yep.
It is. And it's almost like, so I think the media has become commercialized, for lack of a better term. They're selling a product. They're selling a point of view.
Yes. Always true. Always true.
And so they're not in news for the sake of holding somebody accountable or reporting what happened.
Disagree in terms of they're holding people accountable that don't agree with their biases.
They're not even holding them accountable. They're trying to destroy them, and there's a difference.
Well, yeah, there's
a fundamental difference between trying to destroy somebody because they disagree and holding somebody accountable.
See, two people come immediately to my mind. John Solomon over at The Hill, Sarah A. Carter. I definitely believe the stuff that she writes. Byron York, I think, is a great guy over at Washington Examiner. There are still a handful of people left that I think you can trust, but how sad and what a hell of a commentary to say that when there used to be, and you know who's responsible for it?
Yeah, the people.
Dan Rather.
You know what? I think the people are responsible for it.
Well, to a degree. Okay.
The people. Look, we were charged with knowing our history. We were charged with knowing what our Constitution is and what it says and the purpose of the government.
We all should.
And we failed. We as the American people have failed in that.
Yep.
And because we of the American people have failed on that, we're in the mess we're in today.
But
people get their news now in snippets.
Who allowed us to fail?
The people did.
The people did.
Instructors, teachers. I said this for years. I disagree. If you control education and SCOTUS, you control the cultural
but how do you
movement
get control?
in this history.
You get control of it because people are not paying attention.
Acquiescing.
Yes.
You get it
acquiescing
from ignorance and acquiescing.
Ignorance, and that's my point. And it goes back to it's not the teacher's fault. They're the tool that's implementing this agenda. It is the fault of the people that have allowed it to get this way. The people they voted into office. The fact that it's school. How many are so? I've had this discussion recently. So kids go to a great school. It's a charter school. It's a private school. Whatever it is. But maybe this school isn't big on the sports program. Or maybe this school is more in this area. Well, yeah, this is great for our kids K through 8, but we really want them to have the quote-unquote high school experience. I actually had this discussion with a parent the other day with somebody I was talking with.
Okay.
I want my kid to have a high school experience. I said, okay.
Okay, what is that? I'm not sure.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. What does that mean?
Going to football games. Having a baseball team and a football team and a cheerleading squad and all this stuff. And I stopped and I said, okay, does your child know that they're missing that? Well, no.
Then they're not missing it.
What is the purpose of school? Well, it's to build friends. Okay, if in your perspective the purpose of school is to go have friends and have social hour.
Exactly.
Is
it the only purpose just to socialize kids? You can do that with dogs.
Yes. Then go switch schools.
Go to a park.
And you're a fucking idiot. And you're part of the fucking problem in this country. And leave me the fuck alone because I can't talk to you. This is a true conversation I had, and I actually said this because I was so pissed off.
God, yes.
And they looked horrified. And I'm friends with the husband. Like, I'm friends. And he was like, well, that's kind of harsh. I go, no. Look, the purpose of an education is, or the purpose of school is
education.
To educate.
Right.
To get an education.
Reading, writing,
not to go
arithmetic.
have fucking social hour. You want to go have social hour, get together with your friends after school. You want to go play sports. There are plenty of school leagues and other leagues and everything else that you can go get involved with. But if you want a world-class education that's going to prepare them for college or prepare them for the real world, then X school, this school, charter school, private school, whatever it is the way to do it. The public school system in California is failing. It's fucked up. And there's a reason why you look at the LA school district right now and the unions and the fact they're on strike and how poorly they're performing and how they've grown 5% from an administration standpoint, yet their numbers are down because even people in fucked up Los Angeles are flocking to private schools and charter schools.
Charter schools, private schools.
And a lot of people... And I went off.
And homeschooling.
And I went off, and they were like, we didn't think of it that way. That's the fucking problem.
A lot of people don't realize, too, that just because your kid doesn't go to the public school, because you live in that district and you pay taxes, in a lot of cities, your kids can still participate in the sports at that school, even if they don't go, because you're a taxpayer and they have the access through that to use those things.
So, look, there is a fight right now, and it's kind of been brewing for a little bit in this state. Watch what happens in the next 2 to 4 years to charter schools in the state of
they're
California.
going to be destroyed.
Oh, God, yes. They're going to be nuked.
Watch.
I get breaking news when you're ready.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah, go.
So the president announced, and this is from Fox about 8 minutes ago, he says the State of the Union will be delivered after the shutdown.
So he's acquiescing.
Damn.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I am disappointed.
I am very disappointed.
I am disappointed as well.
Okay, now, does that signal that there's a deal in the works?
Yes.
Because you did have Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Does this allow Nancy Pelosi to save face that this is part of a deal that he has said, I'll say this publicly so that you get a win on this one, but you better be ready to deal, because now Nancy Pelosi has some prominent Democrats that are saying, give him his funding already.
Okay, now that's interesting, because I was listening to a radio show today that indicated that sub rosa more Democrats are starting to come to the conclusion that there needs to be something done, and there need to be some concessions by Democrats, and they're not really terribly pleased with Nancy Pelosi.
Especially since they voted for a lot of the stuff that he's putting in there. They're like, hey guys, we actually wanted this shit.
So, and your first thought. I'm going to have to go with your first thought.
63% of the population, I forget what poll it was in, 63% of the population believes in the wall anyhow. So just by numbers.
He can't back away from this.
No. What I'm saying is by numbers, Democrats are getting forced by their constituents to actually push for it.
And they should be. Now here's I have one other analysis, and then I'll shut up for a couple minutes. I apologize.
No, we love it when you talk the whole sector.
Fuck off. I didn't speak at all very much the last section. So
you're the one who went off in a 5-minute thing.
What are you even talking about?
You kept going about the NFL.
I don't know what you're listening.
I wasn't even. I said it at the top.
Right
I said
now.
it at the bottom.
You can't even prove
I don't want to talk about football.
You can't even prove it right now.
I'm using this as an analogy.
You're so angry.
And we were off about the American.
I don't even know what you're talking about right
or
now.
something.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize that these two are off the rails. I don't even know. I haven't said 2 words tonight.
Much last time.
I haven't said 2 words tonight, and all of a sudden, I freaking own the show. Right?
Make your
Jesus
point.
Christ. Donald Trump has to. Finally, can I fucking talk now?
Sorry, my bad.
Fucking show.
I didn't
Jesus.
I didn't mean.
Hi guys, I'm Sackhead Clint. I'm actually here tonight too.
Dude, your nose has been on the camera the entire time.
Once I get through talking,
here's Donald Trump cannot back down on this, because if he does, it will be his Bush senior moment of no new taxes.
Yes.
And then he raises the taxes. Yep. He has to win on this one. And
but
the
it's
Democrats
bigger than,
know that.
It's even bigger than no
my
new
nose.
It's even bigger than no new taxes, because boom. It's even bigger than no new taxes. We're talking about national security. We're talking about an influx.
No, I agree. I'm talking about politically speaking for him in terms of re-election.
I just wanted to make sure that I knew that's what you were saying, but I wanted to make sure that there was a different a spin between the two.
Yeah.
Look, I agree with you. I think he's playing Nancy's ego against her. And everyone who knows Nancy knows that she is all about her ego. And if you can play it against her, look, we got into it with the airplane being pulled, which was just magic. Yeah. Absolute magic. He knew the only thing she could do was State of the Union. Yeah. Now, look, I don't like to get carts before horses. I don't like to suggest things that I'm not sure about all the time. But you've watched this president now for 2 years. We've watched him operate. We've watched him set up media and knock them down. We've watched him set up politicians and knock them down on both sides.
North Korea.
Yeah. Yes. To suggest that this was not all semi-gamed in the sense of, well, let's see, if I do this and she does this, well, now I can be the nice guy and say, you know what, that's fine. But the other thing, too, to remember all this, and I'm sure a lot of Democrat voters are remembering this, and a lot of Democrats, and the president certainly is he's been in that office every day of the shutdown waiting for them.
Yes,
he's
has.
Invited them in.
Yep.
He's made a reach out to try to, hey, we can do this if we do this, and I'm giving you this. Most people don't realize that it is the equivalent of about $58 for the year per household to put a fence on the southern border. And I saw a great chart that broke it all down. If you compare how much the federal budget is, to how much the fence is, to how much a middle-class family earns, to paying $58 to surround your property with the fence. Hurricane fencing, the whole 9 yards, only costs you $58. It makes sense. He's asking for, what is it, like less than 1% of the budget for this?
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about when Bush got $20 billion to start this, where all that money is.
You could shut down a cabinet position.
Right.
And get an infinite amount of cash from that.
And he didn't give away DACA. He kicked it down the road. And I will say that he probably shouldn't have kicked it down the road as far as he did, but he kicked it down the road. But look, I understand that part of DACA, but you know what he's saying to them? The same thing that most of us are saying. We'll worry about the people who are illegal and not committing crimes when we finally get down there. Guess when that's going to be? In a couple years. If I snap my finger right now and full Thanos removed half the criminal illegal immigrants and the fence was built right now, it's still going to be a couple years before ICE can actually function through appropriately and get rid of all the super scumbags before we start focusing on the people who are the quote, I guess would be considered more dreamers than anybody else. Like they're trying to get here. Yeah, they came into the country illegally and they're trying to write it. It also gives them time to write it, enter the system the right way, and apply the right way. Then they don't have to worry about shit. He's giving you notice. You have 4 years to get your shit together. Mm-hmm. And then you're not going to be a DACA recipient. You're going to be a potential resident and a potential citizen.
And you know what this actually kind of ties... we'll get into that, I'm sure, in a little bit later.
Sorry, BZ, I know you had other stories. This was your segment.
No, that's okay. One of the other things that I think is incredibly important, one of the reasons that I believe that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats won't budge on a wall, is that it is a physical asset. And when you budget for things, you budget for people and you budget for physical assets. People are kind of fungible. They can change. But once you put up a wall, it's a physical asset. And once it's there, yeah, you can wait until it crumbles, 10, 20, 30 years on down the line. But once it's up, you can't take it down. And I think that's one of the major reasons that they're fighting so desperately against a wall, is that when it's there, it's like Social Security until it crashes. You ain't taking it down. Mm-hmm. But here's another thing that I should like to throw out. I submit that a major portion of this could be solved very readily. And a wall, I would still advocate for a wall.
Oh, yeah.
But make E-Verify mandatory. Not a suggestion, not a hint.
State to state.
Make it mandatory on a federal level.
Look,
everybody.
Immigration's a federal issue. If you're a business,
and the Republicans are just as guilty for not insisting on that as the Democrats.
Agreed.
Because each side has its own, wants to tap the illegal blood system for their own reasons. For the Democrat side, it's all about the votes, because you can't depend on the damn blacks anymore. By God, now they've got, and they're independent. They're not voting in line in perpetuity anymore. Oh my God, we're going to kick them to the curb.
Wait, how many of them are Republicans now?
Yeah,
wait, Hispanic support for Trump is going up? Wait, and Asian support for Trump is going up?
You can't do that.
How is he even doing this? He must be cooking the books. It's Russia.
Damn uppity blacks are starting to become independent. So who do they have to go for the black or for the votes?
LBJ said it.
We all know it.
We all know it. That was his whole
have them
plan.
Damn N-word voting for the Democrats for the next 250 years.
Yep.
Now.
And the Republicans want it because they like the labor.
Yes. And look, I guarantee you those jobs are still going to be needed.
The establishment Republicans,
and
not true conservatives, establishment Republicans.
I agree. By the way, I whenever we bring up the wall, my argument always comes down to the same argument that the left uses for guns. If it saves one person.
See, when you say something like that, I'm reaching for the little bell, and it's not over here. So, exactly, that's the point. Where's the logic? If eliminating guns can save just one life, then why can't a wall save just one life?
How much?
That's not applicable.
How much do we put into other life-saving things that okay? How much money from the Federal Highway Act goes into DUI enforcement? And I'm not saying it's not important, and I'm not saying it's not a serious issue. What I'm saying is it's done to save lives, right? Well, why? Why is this not the same?
We already know for a fact that the wall would have saved at least one life from my department, Deputy Danny Oliver. We know that there's one life right there.
It could have saved 4 lives in Reno.
Yeah, but that's a cop's life, though.
Isn't
that his job to die? Isn't that his job?
It could have saved 4 lives in Nevada.
Yeah, you're right.
It could have saved 4 lives in Nevada this past weekend. 2 lives in Reno on top of the other 4 over the weekend.
Kate Steinle and that guy walked.
Stanley. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Well, it's San Francisco. San Francisco murder's not even a crime anymore. That's what that case told you. San Francisco murder
of a white person by an illegal immigrant
is not a punishable offense anymore.
Yep.
It's actually encouraged. And when you're done, you can poop on the street.
Yeah.
BZ,
and shoot up dope.
God, wouldn't you say that's the best of all possible worlds right there?
BZ, you had one more story at least? 4 minutes left.
No, I'm done with all the
good. I'm
the
glad.
Journalism stuff.
I'm glad I wrapped that stuff up.
See, unlike other persons who are present right now, I hand over my time when I'm done.
But I haven't said a fucking word in the last 10 minutes, smartass.
Look, I mean, the reality is what it is.
Should we beat up Nancy Pelosi some more?
You know, actually,
well, no,
in the State of the Union,
she actually called the police on the undocumented immigrants that jumped her wall and lived at her house for a little while.
Awesome. Hey, so talking about kind of in a roundabout way, the Hispanic population here. There's a battle. I think the White House is trying to get the Supreme Court to weigh in on the question of the question for the census on immigration status.
Yes. Well, they lost one.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't. That wasn't even the appellate court.
It'll keep going.
Here's why that's important. Number one, he did it because the Supreme Court. There's time sensitivity to get that question.
Right.
Do you know why the Democrats are fighting so hard on that?
Well, because the amount of districts that they will start losing.
Yes. The House of Representatives is apportioned based on the census.
Yes.
So if there's a citizenship question,
yes,
then and you lose those citizens or those non-citizens, then you lose Democrat House seats because there has to be a reapportion. Now, here's the question. Here's the question I have for the Democratic Party. Illegal immigrants, criminal aliens, people who are in the country unlawfully, are not U.S. citizens.
Nope.
They can't vote.
Yes, they can.
Federally.
They cannot vote federally. But we're talking about the House of Representatives, which is a federal office.
Correct.
Why is it we have representatives for them at the federal level? That is unconstitutional, is it not?
You could make that argument, but
I just did make that argument.
It'll last about 2.35 seconds.
So do you think it's constitutional that illegal aliens have the same representation in Congress that we do?
Constitutionally, no,
absolutely not.
But that's something that would be that's like Don Quixote tilting at windmills. It'll never go anywhere on either side of the aisle.
Does it make it right?
No, of course not.
So do we stand up for what's right, or do we just go about the way of my kid wants a high school
Well,
experience?
here's
we're pissing in the wind.
Here's another final conundrum. The final conundrum for Republicans is this: do I keep voting for the lesser of blah 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 evil, and do I just hold my nose and vote for fill in the blank? Or do I go over to the Democrat Party, or do I just not vote because, damn it, I've got fucking principles?
No, you know what? You vote for the person that you think is right because you have principles.
Hey, the other thing, too, is most people don't realize L.A. alone, if they did the censorship based on citizenship, L.A. alone, the amount of electoral votes that get added because the electoral process is part of it as well, even if they don't get to vote.
Yep.
It offsets 3 states in the Midwest. I wanted to say it was Nebraska, Idaho, and one.
It's like 9
state.
electoral votes.
It's like 9 electoral votes.
Yes, which California would lose.
Which California would lose.
So it's rule by the masses.
Yes,
and not
the masses,
but not even the masses that should
insane.
be ruling on the House side.
This is my point.
We're up against a break. It's a great point,
but it's why the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is beautiful. It's brilliant.
It's brilliant, but it
if
doesn't
we
mean a
only
thing
lived
right
by
now.
it,
yeah,
that's the biggest problem.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back. Second hour, ladies and gentlemen.
And the first, God, where did they go?
This
They're
is
so fast.
when it gets best. So we were talking in the middle of the break before we went to break.
I still like the dude up there. If you're watching on Facebook,
Nobody's
right now,
mentioned it yet.
I'll mention it because I
YouTube,
love
Facebook,
the hell out of
whatever.
it. If you're watching on YouTube, the
Hurricane
SHR
guy.
Media channel on YouTube, or go to the SHR Media on Facebook, you can watch us simulcasting live right now, and there's a 4-panel that's up there, and Sean has been keeping the 4 panels up there predominantly. Now on the upper right hand panel, there's a guy with hair that looks like it's about 2.5 feet long.
Hell yeah.
And he's holding an American flag. Now, before we started the show, Sean told me that this is a guy in a hurricane who is standing there in a very
Headbanging.
legs spread, very heroic pose.
Middle of the street.
In the middle of the street in a hurricane, holding the American flag, and then he's doing the headbanger hair twirl.
Hell yeah.
Where his hair is twirling around.
Full Metallica Jason Newsted. Back in the
great.
day.
I got to tell you, I love the hell out of that.
It just made me laugh. I needed
that's
something to
great.
balance with the three of us. I needed a balance on the screen with the three of us, so I decided that was a better spot for
I
it.
love the hell out of that.
Thank you.
It's like going to,
Thank
I
you
don't
very
know, the Kitty Video channel, and you see something that you could watch endlessly. Yeah, I could watch that guy. Just had to say it.
Well, I appreciate it. Look, we were going to talk about the Covington.
Is that a GIF?
Yeah. Wow, look at you.
What does GIF even stand for?
Graphic image frame.
Funny.
Frame something or other. I
From
frickin' frackin'.
That one.
Frickin' motherfrickin'.
So they just changed it to GIF.
BZ, I believe you have our next topic.
This is great. This occurred today. Now, there are a lot of people that have been saying that Nicolas Maduro took over from, who's that other Argentinian strong dude?
Chavez.
Hugo Chavez in
Hugo?
2003.
No,
No,
this guy.
Wasn't that a car in
13.
the 80s out of Yugoslavia?
I think it was.
Hugo the Hugo. Where goes the Hugo?
Not very far.
I
No,
just saw
not at all.
people pay $5,000 for a Hugo for their son for their birthday.
What?
On TV, yeah.
$5,000?
Featured that.
What were
So
you
when-
watching?
I was
8 is
watching,
enough?
Fast and Loud is what I was watching. Anyway.
And it was about a Yugo?
Yeah, this guy said he wanted to buy his son a piece of crap Yugo. He paid $5,000 for it.
It's a collector's item at that point.
And to give to his son as a fake out birthday gift.
Oh,
and
but-
then he
but he still-
gave his son another car, which I think was an El Camino of all things. But still, to pay $5,000
For a
a
freaking
Yugo.
As a joke.
They weren't even $5,000
He
brand
wasn't
new.
even serious about it.
They weren't 5G when they were brand new in the 80s when they first started selling them.
They were like $600.
Just like the Fiat 124. Got a girlfriend that I had years ago with big hotchas. She had a Fiat.
Wait, she had arthritis in both hands?
Right. How did you know?
She liked the Mexican beverage made from rice?
Yeah, she did. Had a Fiat 124.
Wait, that was horchata.
Horchata. She was a what?
Oh, hey.
Where?
What was her name?
Fiat what?
Yeah. Nicolas Maduro took over Argentina.
That was her name?
Or Venezuela, rather. Carlotta. There's a lot of Carlotta.
A lot of vagina.
A lot of vagina.
So, strongman Nicolas Maduro takes over from Hugo Chavez because Chavez kicks the bucket.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to do my
No,
job.
no,
here.
you're
That's all I'm
fine.
trying to do. I'm just trying to do my job.
You're fine.
My little fuzzy fuzzball BZ job.
BZ, you know as well as I do, as soon as an inappropriate joke gets made, we're just going to giggle for the next 10 minutes because that's just what we do.
That's true. So Maduro, essentially, information, though he's done his very level best to suppress it, Maduro claimed another term in his presidency.
Oh, good for him.
And his
Wish I could do
opposition,
that at work.
yeah, his opposition guy, Juan Guaido, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, Guaido, something like that.
It's not
Guido.
It's not
That's
Guido.
Italian.
He's
not
the
Guido.
opposition leader guy, but
Yes.
essentially,
Has he been killed yet?
not yet.
Well, it's early.
But the night is young.
Yeah.
So now Maduro's all pissed off because it looks as though a lot of people are moving over to the side of the guy because information indicates that, well, maybe that silly presidency should not be going to Maduro because there's information indicating that maybe he just didn't really win the election and he's not relenting and
Guido,
relinquishing it.
Guido is
damn him.
Pro-American. He's pro-individual liberty.
Can't have
he's
that.
He's pro-gun rights, if I'm not mistaken.
Can't have
He's
that.
also claiming to be recognized as the true government of the country because of what happened
Because he
with
won.
the election, because he won. And rumor has it is that the White House, and maybe I'm wrong, it was a rumor, I haven't seen it confirmed, the White House was ready to recognize him.
Well, funny you should mention that because
With
today,
military support?
There's a story that the U.S. officially recognizes the Venezuelan opposition leader as the interim president. Now, interim, I'm guessing,
God, it's like I read.
Means, yeah, I know.
But we know you don't.
I'm guessing that suggests that there's still some more to do to figure out how accurately they can show that this guy is, in fact, the new president. But because of that, Maduro threw a hissy fit and decided that because Trump took a stand, made a decision.
Yes.
And now Maduro's decided that all the U.S. representatives, ambassadors, etc., out with you, damn spot.
He's closing relations with the United States government.
And essentially,
we'll take our money too then.
Mike Pompeo has said something similar today because I watched him being interviewed by another person on Fox News. Mike Pompeo said, not just yet. We're not taking everybody out of there. Not just yet.
Oh, but we're adding some Marines at our embassy.
And this is interesting because this is a direct quote
About
from
500
Trump.
of them.
Somebody asked Trump, one of the newsreaders asked Trump if he was going to consider military force. And in the normal, spot-on, very positive response that you customarily get from Trump, he said, "We're not considering anything. But all options are on the table."
Well, and look, he's been vocal about Venezuela through his presidency and from before. He's talked about it. He's talked about how socialism is failing there. He's talked about the dictatorship that's down there. We knew it's been a dictatorship. There's always curtails. Anytime we talk about Venezuela, I always talk about socialism. And I always talk about those who are like, oh, we just haven't got it right yet. Now we're going to do democratic socialism, blah, 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 blah. The country had more money than 95% of the countries in the world.
They should not be in that
20
predicament
years ago.
at all.
And now they're chasing rats through a street for food. They have no working hospitals.
People take their children to doctors, which is a point in fruitlessness because doctors say, we have no medicine.
Yep.
We don't have any sheets. We have nothing here for you. You can sit in the doorway if you want. That is about as much relief as you're going to get from
websites
us.
like LiveLeak and other kind of citizen journalist websites that are and you get videos from down there, and they get posted all the time about how horrific it is down there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's socialism.
It doesn't have to be that way. It
Right.
was created and pushed.
But the president and his cronies live just fine.
Oh, hell yeah.
They
It was
have
like
doctors.
Assad.
There was
Assad
the video,
lives fine.
There was the video of this president, what was it, a year and a half ago when one of the protests were in front of his palace. And he literally, or it was either him or somebody in his group, was Facebook Living out the window of the riot police using the water cannon to put down the protesters. And they were laughing about it. If that doesn't sum up socialism.
But And you also have to look at who doesn't support this and who does support this.
Yes.
And those people who endlessly prattle off about Trump, Russia, collusion, blah, blah, blah. And again, that's about that BuzzFeed story this past Friday. It has a great deal to do with that. But the people that have historically and will continue to support Maduro are, let's see, the triumvirate of, Russia, let's see, China, and Cuba. And so that tells you a great deal about what you want to know in terms of socialism.
Those are great countries. Those are great countries with great things happening.
They're wonderful.
Look,
countries.
There's a bunch of rum.
Bunch of rubbin?
in
There's a
Cuba.
bunch of
I'd love to
rubbin
get my
that
hands
goes
on.
on in
Cuba.
In Cuba.
I'm sure there
Well,
is.
what else is there? You've got
Rum,
you've got a
cigars,
1954
beach.
Chevy.
Yeah.
And you can either go into your 1954 Chevy or you can do some rubbing. Now, your choice. What do
Or
you
you
think?
can do some rubbing in the Chevy.
Actually,
with Dirty Mike and the boys.
54 Chevy. I mean,
Nothing says
Dirty
lovin'
Mike
like
and the boys.
rubbing in the oven.
Oh, God.
And then the funny thing is, after Trump took a stand today, what else did you see? Oh, that's right. Other countries in South America getting on that bus as well. Question, Clint. Question, Sean. Hey, would this decision have been made with a Hillary Clinton?
No.
Would this decision have been made with a third-term Barack Hussein Obama he wanted?
Nope.
Or would America have made such a, what people would quantify as a bold step in this direction?
No, I don't think it would have happened under many other. I think that there are some people who are Republicans that were running that I don't think this would have happened under.
Barack Obama. Remember that
Romney.
I will never forget these two stupid fucking phrases. Let's see. The first one was strategic patience.
Yes.
And the other one was
being a pussy.
Leading from behind.
Yes, being a pussy.
Being a pussy. Both of them. That's the translation.
Yeah.
Both of them.
That's the literal translation from politicese.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah, why don't the Democrats have strategic patience when it comes to building
Do you know
a wall?
why? Do you know why? Because there is no toxic masculinity in the Democratic Party.
Oh,
because
don't forget Iran.
plus.
Iran was Dave just brought up a good point. How Obama handled Iran is an exact answer of what would have happened.
How Obama handled all foreign policy,
specifically Iran, when he walked out the door and handed him $140 billion, he could have paid for the wall with it.
Look, how he handled everything.
Times.
Everything. Look how he handled Russia. Look how he handled Benghazi. Look how he handled...
No. Andy Robinson. I'm sorry. Andy Robinson again. Oh, no. Hey, Trump killed Russians. That means that he's in bed in Syria with the Russians. Trump loves the Russians.
Right.
Bombing Syria, killing Russians, he loves them. He love him some
But
Russians.
you know what I'm talking. You asked the question about Obama and Hillary and would they handle it this way? And I said, no. You look at how Obama handled everything.
Yes.
How Obama handled the Russians. How Obama handled after the election. I'll be able to talk about. Isn't that fucking collusion?
And a couple of pallets of fucking cash.
And it's on video.
Late at night,
on a C-130,
out of the back of a C-17 into Iran to pay bribes.
Yep.
To make sure that Iran also didn't spill the beans in terms of the gun running crap that was going on in Benghazi, which 4 Americans were killed.
Yeah, you know what Trump would kick out the back of a fucking of a cargo plane? The Moab.
Nancy Pelosi.
He might.
Well, no, he wouldn't let her on the plane. No. He's proven that.
Oh God, that's another story.
We'll get to that. Wait. We'll get to that.
He wants her alive because she's too fucking fun.
On foreign policy.
God.
On foreign policy, Obama did nothing. He made no decisions.
That's my point.
He bowed.
He did nothing.
He bowed a lot.
We need a video with Trump and Nancy Pelosi to the soundtrack of Secret Lovers.
You know what I'd like to see? You know, we were talking about videos played over and over again, like the guy with the long hair and the flag up here. I'd love to see in perpetuity a GIF made of the first time that Trump shook Nancy Pelosi's hand. You remember when Trump shakes people's hands, his arm goes way up, and he really launches into. He almost pulled Nancy Pelosi's arm out of her socket. I'd love to see that.
He almost attached the clips that hold all of her extra skin under her hair up because he shook her so hard.
Oh, my God.
So you brought up... oh, God, what other story do... Oh, we were talking about... 7, 8, 9... So,
we need to make that, just so you know.
Not paying royalties. But, it's just funny to see the dichotomy.
Whoa, nice word.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Multisyllabic.
Hey.
I'm impressed.
4 syllables.
Oh, he's like Yugoslavic and he's Czechoslovak.
Dikovic. He's Dikovic.
Hey, speaking of, anyone see the Chechen government ordering family members to kill any members of the LGBT community that live within their home?
Missed that one.
No,
Yeah.
missed that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That came out this past week. The Chechen government, Chechnya, Muslim country, Muslim leadership. If you have a member of the LGBT community or anyone who identifies under any of those, you're to kill them if they're family members.
Come on, let's not be so harsh and judgmental.
I saw a movie. Isn't that called The Purge?
I think so.
Okay,
I think so.
How very 1930s like German of them.
Yeah, it's so weird. Luckily, those two weren't aligned. Hey,
yeah, and all the 3 new Congress critters are mad. The Muslim Congress critters are madly in love with Linda Sarsour.
Yeah, of course they are.
And the Women's March. The Women's March.
What
That's
Women's
good.
March?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's losing a lot of support.
Yeah, and it's weird though.
But they're not going back on that. No,
So-
we support everything.
Well, and it's funny to see the numbers that were dwindling for the Women's March, but the amount of coverage it got on news media. But the March for Life that took place this
I was going to
past
say
weekend.
the Right to Life March. This is what you heard in the media. Free deed, free deed.
Yep.
Free deed, free deed. Crickets in the field.
Never even talked about.
Nope.
So it's amazing to me. Again, this whole show is going to be about media bias, and I totally get that. But that's another very, very, very broad and don't see. Don't. I knew you went with that, you sexist pig. So anyhow, speaking of media bias, and speaking of
Why would you
Washington,
call
D.C.,
BZ that?
and speaking of stories,
Speaking of broads,
broad stories, look,
Speaking of broads, Kamala Harris fucking announced.
Oh, good. So, by the way, do you remember 3.5, 4
You spun.
Do you remember 3.5, 4 years ago when everybody in mainstream media was slamming the Republicans for having so many candidates? Oh, they can't even get their party in order, and there's all these different people coming to the table, blah, 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 blah.
They're going to have, 20 now?
There's
people
I don't want to
coming out
laugh
of
at them
the
because
woodwork.
guess what? The Republicans did it, and the Republicans fucking won.
No, and that's fine. It's what I'm talking about is the two-faced
They're talking
aspect.
shit. Oh, of course.
Yeah. But look at, you have, who do we have now? You have Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Did Cory Booker announce?
Not yet.
Not
He's
yet.
going to, though.
I think Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Warren officially in.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think she is.
Elizabeth, what's her name? Elizabeth, tail feather. Yeah, tail feather.
Yeah,
Warren.
Pocahontas.
The gal from Hawaii.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of.
The senator from Hawaii.
You also had a mayor,
Female senator from Hawaii.
a mayor from Indiana.
A mayor?
Yeah, he's a mayor of, I think, in Indianapolis.
Oh, good for him.
Sackhead Clint.
Yep.
So
we're on the Democratic ticket.
Hey, you know who just became a commentator for CNN?
Who?
Megyn Kelly.
John Kasich.
Who?
Yeah, I know. John Kasich. Well, and Mia Love is as well.
You know what? Good for him. He's a commentator. That means he can't run for president unless he quits.
No,
he will.
He's not going to get anything.
No, I think Kasich will run.
I think he will.
Do you really?
Just to pull votes from Trump?
And I also think what's his face from Virginia is going to run too.
He'll pull
the governor of Virginia,
2 votes.
Who ran with Hillary this last time?
Biden.
No.
Oh no, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I think Biden. Did Biden announce yet? Biden will run.
Biden hasn't officially announced. He's going to be in too.
He had the
name?
wife. That
Biden?
This guy's wife was in conflict of interest.
Yes.
With
yes.
McCabe.
Yes.
Yep.
And I
Good
can't
golly, I
think of
can't
that
think of his
guy's
name.
I would almost vote for Biden because that would be freaking just material.
that's like never-ending material.
Here's
the funny
Biden
thing.
wouldn't be super hardcore left, though. I don't think.
No, he'd be.
I don't know.
He would be sufficiently political. I would see him becoming kind of Clinton-like, Bill Clinton-like in that respect. Here's the funny thing about Kamala Harris. I noticed already that once she made her announcement, that there are certain elements on the left that are saying, well, she was a prosecutor. She's already getting some pushback from some people on the left already.
Yes, but what those people need to realize, she was a prosecutor, but she was a prosecutor that refused to go after the death penalty for a cop killer in San Francisco. She was the only attorney general, or the first attorney general in the state, 'cause I think Becerra is the same way now, who got zero endorsements from any public safety unions or officers or anything prior to winning the attorney general job.
And she's also the person that directed that investigation of the guy that went in various places in regard to abortion, took the video of the people saying that, basically, hey, babies, a couple of baby parts over here are worth $500, a couple of baby parts over there, you can get more on the market for them.
She is not law enforcement friendly or prosecutor friendly.
Yeah, but you look at how she came into her political prowess, and there's no secret in the state. You talk to anybody.
No, she came into her political prowess by fucking who? Willie Brown.
Yes.
While Willie Brown was married.
Oh, that's right. O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke
hasn't announced yet, but they're expecting him to.
He had that dental visit.
He had that. Yeah, thank God it wasn't a proctology exam. And Julian Castro.
It was, because he talks out his ass.
Whoa! I see what you did there. I see it.
Thank you.
And Julian Castro also announced. So we're up to what, 7?
Julian Castro, any relation?
Yeah, it's Raul's granddaughter.
Yeah, well, no, he's the former one of the czars, Homeland.
No relation to Fidel.
No, that week I'm sure, probably. He was a czar for the Obama administration. I can't remember for what. I want to say it was
Obama had 750.2.
Yeah,
czars?
something like that. And he worked for him forever. And he's out of Texas. Maybe Beto will be his running mate. I guarantee you. I can already tell you that whoever is the Democratic nominee, whoever it is, you will absolutely see Beto O'Rourke as their running mate. Because he pulled the young, hip crowd in Texas. And if he can do it in Texas, he can do it anywhere else.
I know we got about
That's their idea.
3 more minutes before the bottom of the hour.
I think.
Let me throw this out here.
I was going to talk about who Trump's running mate should be. Go ahead.
Let me throw this out there for your mastication and cogitation.
Is
it too early?
I'm on camera.
2020, is it too early for someone to think that it's high time to throw AOC onto the big street and put her in there? Or has she already pissed off way too many Democrats?
No, I think that the Democratic handlers on the left, the true ultra progressives that kind of are running the party,
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I think they already are waiting to get their fingers into her to calm her down.
Whoa.
Bint from New York.
Because
who couldn't find Mitch McConnell because she didn't know what building she was in.
She didn't go to the leader's office. And she
goes on social media.
Mitch
McConnell won't meet me.
Yeah, he's not in his office.
If you go to
he's not in the chambers.
Fucking right building.
He's not in the cloakroom.
You might
he's
find
not in this.
him.
He was in the leader's office. You walked right by it going into this building. You went by the leader's office. You never thought to check.
Shit.
Where's Mitch? Hashtag where's Mitch? Hashtag get your head out of your ass, stupid. I hate to say it.
You know what though? She's young. She's young. She's attractive. She's hip, and she'll get votes just for that.
Oh, sure she will.
Her and Beto O'Rourke.
Oh, it's a 1-2 punch. Oh, absolutely.
See, here's the thing, and I don't know who's listening in chat, but I have a guy that's on Facebook, and he had a blog for a while. And a lot of people from Texas keep saying, Texas isn't going nowhere. Texas is... You know
Bullshit.
what?
Bullshit. We had
Folks,
this argument.
All you people from Texas is moving purple.
It was last week. It was
it's
last
moving
week.
purple. So when you think that you're the last bastion
You're
Nope.
not.
No. Guess who's flooding you, Texas?
Yep.
All the dipshits from California are bringing their money to Texas and their businesses to Texas, and they're
their
also bringing their
politics.
brains to Texas, their mindsets and their philosophies.
Yep.
I will ask New Hampshire about the mass holes that all moved up because of the lower taxes and business and all the other stuff. Same thing happened, and now it used to be a
They're
really
like
hard
fucking
red.
locusts.
Used to be a really hard red state, and now it's purple.
They're locusts.
Before we
Hey,
go to break,
I wanted to say one thing.
Okay.
Can Trump win with Mike Pence?
Yes.
I don't. You think so? I
absolutely.
don't think he can.
Nope, absolutely.
Okay, well, I know we got to go to break. So when we come back from the break, I'm not gonna Bigfoot it now. I'm gonna ask you after the break who you think then should be his running mate.
Okay.
And I say he absolutely should just keep it the same way. We are up against a break here on SHR Media Network. This is the
this is
Sackheads. I'm glad we can entertain you.
Thank you.
This is the Sackheads
We're
Radio
here for
Show.
you.
You're literally part of the show, for God's sakes. Dear God.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events? All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic, concealed carry, and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sackheads Radio Show, live on the SHR Media Network. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
It's the last 25.
Yeah.
And for those...
He does need new headphones. I'm just looking at them from here right now.
They're old.
And they're the little plastic cup pieces. They're all shredded, man.
You know, for those who are watching on Facebook or watching our video stream...
He needs new headphones.
You're welcome for the bonus video.
We're going to have to get
bonus content.
Bonus content. It was bonus video this time.
Right. You could call it Inside Sackheads for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Inside Sackheads.
You can watch us discuss and look intelligently at one another.
That's right. It's like the end of a DVD.
There's a lot of nodding.
Look at this as bonus content / extras.
I consider it yearning, but that's cool.
I am almost positive nobody did anything inappropriate. So that's good.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
We need to try
but
harder.
We do
Clint,
need some new headphones for poor Clint over there.
We got to get some new ones for Clint.
Yeah. And we do. You bought some. You got some.
Clint?
They're here somewhere.
Go ahead for it, sir. You said you had.
Yeah, I was asking before the break.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sackhead Sean was saying, hey, who should be running mate in 2020 with John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head? And Sean was saying, hey, Pence. And then
I said, hey, can he win with Pence?
Clint said, I got another guy. So do you have another guy?
I do, and I've said this name before, but okay. I see Beto O'Rourke, right, the young millennial, cool, hip thing, right. I see Roberto Cortez, who's
ACL,
yeah, ACLU,
AOC,
who's attractive. She appeals to a certain.
And she cannot.
Group.
She's like Cory Booker. She can't take a photograph without the googly eye thing.
Yeah, she can't.
It's like
I
can't even make my eyes do that.
I think that Trump needed Pence when he had Pence because of the evangelical Christian vote that he didn't have without him.
Okay.
I think with the things he has done in office, he has the Christian vote solidified, particularly with his Supreme Court picks. Mm-hmm. I don't think he needs that anymore. I think he needs to be seen as something other than the ticket of the old white man party in order to get some of the. I think him by himself, he'll get the votes, but I think Pence at this point may do him more harm than good, particularly with the beating of the drum and the media and everything else, and some of those moderates that are, it is pretty, and then you have this star power over here, Nikki Haley. I think if he brings Nikki Haley on board, he has a minority female governor who has done a lot, who has executive experience, who brought people together because she did sign that legislation, which I disagreed with, but signed legislation for the Confederate flag for South Carolina.
She was an ambassador to the UN.
She was an ambassador to the UN.
And a damn skippy one.
And my prediction is if he finds a place for Pence has done a great job. He has been the consummate vice president. Please don't take anything I'm saying as taking anything away from Mike Pence.
Perfect carrier of water.
He has done a tremendous job, and I think Trump needs to find, or their party needs to find, a suitable place for him. But vice president on the next go-around, I don't think is it. And I think if he brings Nikki Haley on board, my prediction is Trump will win re-election in a landslide, and Nikki Haley will win in 2024.
Well,
okay, that's what you want.
That's my prediction.
Okay, that's that's what you say.
That's my prediction. If he brings her on board, I predict Trump will win in 20, or excuse me, I believe Trump will win in 2020, and Nikki Haley will win in 2024.
Okay, maybe this is parsing too much, but is that what you want,
That's
or is
my
that what you actually think will occur?
So which part? I think if he brings Nikki Haley on, I think that will occur.
Okay, but do you believe that will happen?
I don't know.
I
believe it. I believe it is. I 51%. I believe it's more likely than not.
Dave in the chat room brings up a really good point. He says he does need Pence because of as long as Planned Parenthood is still being funded, you need the evangelical vote.
He has them now. With his 2 Supreme Court nominations, the evangelicals are completely happy with that. Planned Parenthood has continued to be funded. Pence has nothing to do with that, and Trump has put the court nominees in place to be able to ensure that some of those rulings are going to start to be looked at.
And I'm not saying either person's right. I just think it's a valid argument.
No,
he's also made strong comments against Planned Parenthood that he wouldn't sign anything that supported it, supported abortion, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him, but I think for that one issue, I think he has evangelicals. I don't think evangelicals will not vote for him because Pence isn't on the ticket at this point. I think that was true in 2016. I don't think that's true now, and because of that, I think he needs to make the change in order to almost guarantee a victory.
Well, and you also have to look at what Mike Pence wants to do too. He may not want to keep doing it after 4 years. He may be done. He may want to take a break. He may want to go on and do a couple circuits and then run in a couple years. I think you're right with Nikki Haley in 2024 either way. I think Nikki Haley in 2024 is going to be the Republican ticket.
She should be.
Right. And I was going to say, whether you like her or you don't like her as a conservative, but if you're a single issue thing where that one flag incident or the one, if that bothered you and that's why you don't like her, I think you're kind of overlooking a lot of other things.
I agree too. I agree because I didn't agree with her on that.
I didn't.
But here's why I think she needs to be on the VP ticket, because she's not an ambassador right now. 6 years is a long time. People will forget about her in 6 years unless she is doing something else.
Didn't that also raise a lot of questions for you? It raised questions for me. The timing that she utilized before November to skedaddle out of the administration, although that wasn't going to occur until January 1st. But what was it that occurred in the background that either was suggested by Trump or
she have planning to do?
She decided she was going to have to do. I don't think that was sufficiently answered.
But she didn't leave. She didn't say nothing. She thanked the president.
No, she was gracious.
She was
gracious
very gracious.
About that.
They appeared together. So I don't.
But the timing,
that was symbolic too.
That was symbolic.
The way she left was symbolic because he didn't do that with any other real administrative staff. A couple people he said nice words about, but he didn't really do that whole symbolic appearance.
Yeah.
But everyone else too is, whether or not he'll get the vote is, and again, I do have to give a little bit of what Dave says, some thought here is they may not come out in 2020 without somebody to draw them out, because that's what did a lot for him in 2016. You have to get them out of the chair to vote.
Yes, you do.
And unless you have somebody that they connect with, evangelicals have proven they won't. Look at what happened with Romney. They didn't connect with Romney.
You're right, but they connect with Trump now.
Well,
if you look at the polling, they connect with Trump.
Okay, I
now.
see where you're going.
They
on this.
didn't before. Right. They do now.
And
I get it.
Hopefully, I'd have to see some polling to see that happen. But also polling, like I said, polling has been bullshit.
Yeah, it has been for sure, absolutely.
So it's a crapshoot.
Whiskey Dale is in chat, so welcome to Whiskey Dale.
Hey,
Good to see you here. He says Pence will turn 60 this year. And he says, but he looks older. Folks, Pence isn't even 60. No. Pence is 59.
Yeah, and he looks like Race Bannon.
I would have guessed.
Who's the dude from Naked Gun?
I would have.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Lieutenant Frank Drebin.
Yeah.
Oh God, Airplane.
Yes.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah. Yes. That's
also in one of the greatest science fiction films ever shot, Forbidden Planet.
He was also he was in a bunch of serious movies before he went to comedy. But yeah. he's only 59. But on the other hand, too,
I
he's
look younger than Pence.
I don't know about that. He's been in the public eye now.
That shit's not funny. Okay, I'm just saying.
He's been in the public eye for a long time.
Former governor of Indiana.
Yeah, not everybody wants to stay forever, and I think we're so used to that being a thought that once you're in government, you're going to stay there until you're 85 or whatever.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to do that. There are some people who've had enough.
Is Hillary going to run in 2020?
Absolutely.
I really... Hillary is like Pelosi in terms of they cannot understand when their career is over.
She will.
They have no
absolutely
concept
run.
of that, and I fervently believe...
I can't wait for it.
That until she bends over of a heart attack or a stroke, 2020 is in her bomb sight. Not just but hell yeah.
Did you say if she gets bent over and stroked?
No, that's not what was said. We don't do that to our listeners. That's a horrible thought, and I won't have it here.
Should we do Secret Lovers for Trump and Nancy Pelosi?
No. That was Secret Lovers for Trump for 500, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think that's what that was.
Who is Nancy Pelosi?
Who is Nancy Pelosi?
Can I throw a turd in the conversational punch bowl?
Yes.
At 15 minutes left?
Yes.
What do you think the reaction is going to be this month, February, or March when Ginsburg retires?
Oh!
From who?
Oh.
Everyone.
Oh, well, we're going to throw a party.
Oh.
We're going to throw a party and high five.
Because the funny thing is,
we're going to have a toga party.
The San Luis Obispo Register, I think it was, came out with that initial story that no one else would cover, that she had left D.C., she's not coming back, she's not hearing arguments in place, and they were saying that there were two other sources that newspaper had in late 2018 saying that she was going to be retiring sometime in early 2019.
Well,
now, my God, you've got Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and the fight for Kavanaugh. Can you imagine the Armageddon that's going to happen?
But
I will tell you what's going to happen.
You also have to look at Fox News this weekend. Accidentally played the screen splash. It said Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whatever year she was born, 18, whatever it was, to 2019. So they have
for the death?
They have it ready to go.
That little flying chyron that's down at the bottom?
No, it was a screen splash. Had her picture and everything.
So
it's ready to go, and it's on a push-button menu to be put up.
Oopsie.
Here, you want another prediction? Trump can get as many Supreme Court justices as he wants. The next Democratic president that's in there, or the next time the Democrats hold complete power, the Constitution doesn't set the number of Supreme Court justices. I think he's going the next Democratic.
They're going to kick it up at least one or two.
I think that they are going to pack the Supreme Court a la FDR.
Well, and that's a possibility. So why doesn't he add two?
Yeah.
But because of that,
and then when they try to add two, say, "Why are you doing this? We just did it."
Yeah. Clearly, we have enough justices.
Whiskey Dale says that there's rumors going around that Justice Thomas may be looking to retire. I don't know. After Justice Scalia passed, I think Thomas is going to be around for a while. I think if Scalia was still around, Thomas may have been ready, but he fought hard, and to see what
Gorsuch just went through too.
Yeah,
I'm not aware
or Kavanaugh.
of any further medical problems other than Ginsburg in the Supreme Court right now. Are you guys? Have you heard anything?
I have.
Like
I have not.
Thomas.
Well, Thomas is only 70.
Yeah,
he's not that old.
All the rest of them, etc., are fairly damn young.
Yeah. So I think you're going to get Ginsburg for sure in the next month. I honestly believe.
Hey, you know what? Maybe Thomas goes before the president's term is up.
Well, and that's the thing is
not entirely impossible.
Right, just to give them.
Oh my God! What happens if you get two this year before 2020? And
well, that's what I was just saying. And you've just locked up Thomas's spot for another 25, 30 years.
And if you get Thomas and Ginsburg in 2019,
and you have that gun case coming up,
and you saw the fight for Kavanaugh. But now, my guess is he may stick to this. He may not. The next up to bid may be Amy Coney Barrett.
Yes.
If she is, do you really want to fight her the same way that Dianne
They can't.
Feinstein
You have
attempted to fight her?
No, they have to. They won't
I believe
do it.
they
They'd
will.
be stupid if they
I
did.
believe they will. But
I believe they will,
They're
too.
not going to have anything. Now you have to prognosticate. Okay, that in and of itself, I don't think will be a sinking quality. They'll attempt to place everything there, but will they be able to dredge something else? Because what you know for a fact is she didn't allegedly spike drinks in college, et cetera, et cetera. You know,
maybe she did.
Maybe she did.
They'll come out with it.
So you
there
know,
has to be some
whoever
little
is-
nerd.
You know what? You know what? She spiked Kavanaugh's drink and took advantage of him.
There's going to be some little nerd
I heard
that's
that.
going to come out from
I heard
college.
that. I heard that on BuzzFeed.
There's going to be some little nerd that's going to come out from
She
mom's
touched my
basement
pee-pee.
and be
But
like,
if you-
"Oh, she kissed me in a dance inappropriately in high school."
If
I
you
wasn't
think there
ready
was
for
a
it."
flamethrower war for Kavanaugh, can you imagine what's in the offing for whoever it is, whether it's Thomas or Ginsburg?
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Does not matter.
It will be Armageddon.
Yep.
It'll be nothing if not entertaining.
Not bad.
Oh my God, it'll be massive.
Oh no, I think it's.
I just had to
only-
throw that in there.
I
Sorry.
think it's only going to get more crazy. I think that you have the potential for Ginsburg, and like everything else. And I've said this time and again. There's also that unknown. There's that unknown that could pop up, and depending on who that unknown is, look, we already have a conservative Supreme Court. You lose Ginsburg, it's a more conservative Supreme Court. You replace Justice Thomas, you've locked up a more Supreme Court for another 25 years. And then there's the that one person. Look at what happened with Scalia. Sometimes people just retire. You don't know. So he could potentially be looking at, 5? When was the last time a single president has appointed 5 Supreme Court justices?
Yeah, it'd be the Trump court.
Holy cow!
It'd be the Trump court.
Never mind what he's doing to the lower courts. And you have that New York gun law that's going to be heard here very, very shortly, which could change the face of 2A in the country.
It should.
It should.
It should.
Absolutely should. I think there's no argument anywhere in this room that it should. But now, and if Ginsburg
I want Supreme Court to have the balls to say all gun legislation passed at the state level is unconstitutional.
That's what it is.
Because 2A is a federal issue.
issue.
It's only regulated by the federal government, and all state gun laws are null
If
and
they
void.
blow this out of the water, which I think they will.
I think they will, too.
I think they
How do you
have
not?
to. Right. Especially with Heller and all the other ones that
Yes.
have alluded to which way it should go lawfully anyways. If they blow this out of the water, the next one's going to be...
I hope the Supreme Court actually makes a stand and not just okay,
punt.
on this one little case, we're going to look at this narrow sliver, but actually
Don't punt.
2A. We are finally taking 2A on.
Don't punt. It's 4th and 1. You're on the 2-yard line. Punch it in.
Yes.
Let's look at this. John Roberts right now is 63, okay? Clarence Thomas is 70. Bader Ginsburg, RBG, is 85. Here's another possible. Stephen Breyer.
Stephen Breyer is no
is
spring
80.
chicken.
Okay, so that might be another one. Alito's not
He's
going anywhere.
liberal also, right?
Yeah, so if you have 6 years, if Trump gets reelected, you're looking at he's going to be 86.
He could replace
And-
all of the he could potentially replace all of the liberal justices with the exception of the 2 Obama got.
So physically, Thomas is not that
Kagan and
old
Sotomayor.
for a justice.
Right.
He's an associate justice at age 70.
Yep.
80, what did I say, 85 for Ginsburg. Breyer is 80.
80.
Sam Alito, he'll be around for a while. He's 68.
You could see Breyer and Ginsburg, and there's your other two.
And that's why I'm going through the list here. Sotomayor, she's 64. She'll be around.
It'd be
Kagan,
7-2. It'd be a 7-2 court.
Kagan, 58. She's going to be around. Gorsuch, he's 51. Kavanaugh's 53. So you got a pretty damn young court here.
And you
except
need,
for Breyer.
You need
and Ginsburg.
as many conservative justices as you can, because then if the Dems do try pack the court,
They have to pack.
they have to pack
another 9?
Yeah.
To
So
gain
if
it
you have a
back?
7-2, You're going to have to pack it with 6.
Yeah, 5 more.
Oh, we're going to create 6 new judges. Wait, why?
They have to do at least 5 more.
Because.
And then they have to get...
I'm saying if he gets Ginsburg and Breyer? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, just like you said early at the beginning of the shift, Clint, here's a story from Fox. White House, just like you said, White House announces 51 judicial picks, including 2 for the liberal Ninth Circuit. Yesterday, they announced the renomination of 51 federal judicial nominees left over from the previous Congress, kickstarting the administration's effort to install more conservative judges after GOP activists worried that such appointments had stalled. 9 of the 51 appointees are for spots on prestigious and influential federal appellate benches, 2 on the mostly liberal San Francisco-based Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal.
And how many do they need to flip the ninth? Because it's not as bad as people think.
Yes, it is.
I don't think so. I think there's a total of, 7?
So as you guys have emphasized before, with myself tagging on, is SCOTUS is really important, but never underestimate the importance of all the various other appellate positions and judicial positions in the federal government.
The Ninth Circuit has 23 judges.
Okay, what's the breakdown?
23.
Yeah, 23 of 23. Left is
it doesn't say. Oh, appointed by. Oh shit. Okay. So here's the thing. So the thing about the Ninth Circuit, even if they're appointed by a Republican, historically, until Trump, the president has gone to the senators in that district for a list and chosen off of their list. So even appointees from Bush may be liberal.
But there's a couple conservatives on there because the last couple of 3-judge panels have been close.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the cases, but they have been closer.
So 9.
That's a good point, Sean.
9 of the Supreme Court or the Ninth Circuit are Clinton appointees. Mm-hmm. 5
so they'll all be retiring soon.
5 are Bush.
Mm-hmm.
7 are Obama, and 2 are Trump.
So let's look at the 9 Clinton appointees.
I'm sorry, how many were Obama? Did you say?
Clinton was president when?
These are active judges of the Ninth Circuit.
90 to 98, 90 to 97.
If they're federal court judges, you're going to figure what? Minimum of 40 years old, roughly? On average, I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, that's about representative, yeah.
And you're looking at what, 25 years ago?
So senior circuit judges, there are 20 senior circuit judges. And of the 20 senior circuit judges, 2 are Nixon.
Wow, that dates.
4 are Carter. 3 are Reagan. 2 are Bush Sr. 5 are Clinton. And 2 are Bush Jr.
So you look at anybody from Clinton before
Nixon has an appointee on the Ninth Circuit.
That is trippy.
Anybody
really trippy.
From Clinton and before are all potential retirements. And if he gets reelected in the next 6 years, whichever one of them retire, he's appointing. Mm-hmm. So you may not get a complete flip of the ninth, right? Even if he gets another 6 out of it. He just appointed how many? 2, and there's already 2 there?
Right, 2.
So that's...
And there's 2 more. So that'll be 4th.
Math. Right, that'll be 10 total, though, on the 9th. So all of these cases that are getting kicked up now, just because out of the 9th, won't even be kicked up. They won't even go to 3-judge panels.
Yep.
Because it'll be handled before it gets there. We like you said, we've talked about it time and again. Not only is SCOTUS important, but all the appellate courts are important.
Well,
all the federal courts.
Do the logical extension. This is again something that you just brought up that made me think in this direction. What if a lot of this shit doesn't get up to SCOTUS? What if they decide that, okay, we're in total control, and everybody knows that the Democrats wield power a hell of a lot more effectively and efficiently than the Republicans ever could cogitate.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's because Republicans typically follow the rules.
Then it's because they're typically limp-wristed. But what if, in terms of the federal judge, the lower federal courts and appellate courts, become more conservative, fewer of those cases are going to get up to the Supreme Court if you have the opportunity to fill them now. Bing, that's what you were saying, were you not, Sean?
Yes, that is. And
so you can have
there's a downside
a
to that.
left-wing...
There is a downside.
Of course, yeah. You could have a left-wing court, but you may not be seeing as many cases as perhaps they would want.
But here's the other thing, too. You have a 72 Supreme Court. You're now going to have liberal judges who don't want their cases to go up there and get overturned. So they're going to be more centrist on the bench.
I disagree. Maybe some of them. Maybe a few. I think a majority of them are still activists, and they're going to rule how they rule, and hope the Supreme Court doesn't take the case.
Yeah, but if they do. Hey, I know it's 10 o'clock. I do have one more story, Clint, and this may be about you, because you were talking about your back pain the other day. And I just wanted to know.
No, it's not.
This is not you.
No.
You know what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
It is not me.
BZ, it might be you.
It might be BZ.
Oh, it's my knee.
A new study.
On my back, sure, throw my back in.
A new study published by the Irish Medical Journal. This is from the Huffington Post by my good friend Dan Butcher. Sent this to us as our funny story of the night. Recounts the case of a male who was hospitalized after repeatedly injecting himself with his own semen.
Fuck.
To
it was
relieve
you.
his
It was
chronic back
BZ.
pain. This is the first reported case of a semen injection to be used as a medical treatment, doctors said. The case study, titled, I can't make this up, Seemingly Harmless Back Pain, written semen, L-Y, an unusual presentation of subcutaneous abscess. The man's handmade remedy was... was reportedly discovered when he showed up in a doctor's office complaining of back pain while examining the patient. A physician noticed the man's right arm appeared swollen and inflamed. That must have been what he was using to draw it. The explanation the man gave as the doctor was not expecting. The patient disclosed that he had intravenously injected his own semen, an innovative method to treat his back pain. Doctors who wrote the study said he had devised the cure independently of any medical advice.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when my ancestors get drunk and decide to do medicine.
So, like we say, ladies, Sean is practically a doctor. And
God, I'm going to have to go home and open a jar of vinegar or something.
I was going to say mayonnaise. I just want to know, guys, inside
That's
listeners
just
in the
oogie.
room, who looked at it and went, I wonder if this will make my back feel better.
I'm gonna tell my wife that it's gonna make her back feel better.
Right? Is it a stem cell thing?
Yeah, look, dear.
Whiskey
From
Dale,
the show, I just had this suggestion.
Whiskey
we need to
Dale
try.
put it in front of me, and I was just about to say it's stem cells, sperm cells. Let's call the whole thing off. But seriously, was he thinking stem cells like this would somehow?
I don't know, but the
stimulate?
conversation is going to go like this, honey. We just had a medical study that was done, true medical case where
Out of
semen was
Ireland.
used. Semen was used to treat back pain.
And
I didn't say it was successful, and I'm not going to tell her that. I'm just going to say it was used to treat back pain.
It was injected.
Yeah. Yep.
That was absolutely injected.
Yep.
Folks, that's it for the Sackheads Radio Show on the 23rd of January,
That was a
2019.
damn skippy show.
Thank you, gentlemen. Check out BZ tomorrow night.
I got Lonnie Poindexter on.
Oh, the man, Lion Chaser himself. I love Lonnie Poindexter. 8 p.m., the Berserk Bobcat Saloon with the Bloviating Zeppelin. 8 p.m. Pacific.
By the
right
way,
here.
next Thursday, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday night, I got Kurt Schlichter back.
The amazing one.
And next Thursday night, I have Ron Edwards on.
Outstanding. So check that out. And, of course, next Wednesday for the Shrat Show right here on the SHR Media Network.
This is Sackheads.
Sackheads.
Stick around.
Sackheads.
And enjoy.
Sackheads.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. and we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work there too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Tackheads Radio.
Tack, 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 dude. Tack, 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 dude.
Radio.
Tack, 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 dude.